Franklin Pierce was born on November 23, 1804, in Hillsborough, New Hampshire. He came from a politically connected family, and his father, Benjamin Pierce, was a prominent figure in New Hampshire politics. Franklin Pierce attended Bowdoin College and graduated with honors, later pursuing a law degree. Pierce served in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1833 to 1837 and the U.S. Senate from 1837 to 1842. He was a loyal supporter of Democratic Party principles and advocated for states' rights and a limited federal government. His support for the annexation of Texas in 1845 aligned with his party's platform. In the presidential election of 1852, Franklin Pierce emerged as the Democratic Party's nominee, running on a platform of compromise and unity. His military service during the Mexican-American War and his affable personality contributed to his appeal. Pierce won the election decisively, becoming the 14th President of the United States. Pierce's presidency, which lasted from 1853 to 1857, was marked by several notable actions and decisions. One of the most consequential actions of Pierce's presidency was his support for the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854. This act allowed for the expansion of slavery into territories previously closed to it, effectively repealing the Missouri Compromise of 1820. The resulting violence in the Kansas Territory, known as Bleeding Kansas, added to the national tensions over slavery. Pierce's administration played a role in the Ostend Manifesto, a controversial diplomatic effort to acquire Cuba from Spain. This effort, which advocated for the use of force if necessary, faced strong opposition and was ultimately abandoned. Pierce sought to bridge the growing divide between North and South over the issue of slavery, but his efforts were largely unsuccessful. His presidency witnessed the intensification of sectional conflicts that would eventually lead to the American Civil War. After leaving the presidency, Franklin Pierce retired from politics and returned to New Hampshire. He largely stayed out of public affairs and focused on his private life, which included dealing with personal tragedies such as the death of his son in a train accident shortly before his inauguration. Franklin Pierce passed away on October 8, 1869, in Concord, New Hampshire. Despite his presidency being marred by the escalating tensions over slavery, Pierce's supporters believed he was unfairly maligned and that he genuinely sought to preserve the Union. Pierce's legacy is often overshadowed by the events that unfolded during his time in office, particularly the lead-up to the Civil War. Nevertheless, his presidency remains a subject of historical analysis, offering insights into the complex political landscape of the mid-19th century. Franklin Pierce is memorialized with a variety of honors, including a memorial in Concord, New Hampshire, and the naming of streets and institutions in his honor. Franklin Pierce's presidency is remembered as a period of deepening sectional divisions in the United States, with his support for the Kansas-Nebraska Act contributing to the growing tensions that would ultimately lead to the American Civil War. His attempts at compromise and unity were largely unsuccessful during a tumultuous time in American history.